your fault! How'd you let this happen to us?
Story time. A billionaire pretended to have gone bankrupt and lost everything to test his family, but will they care? What do you think happened? Well, you would be blown away by what happens in this epic story. Chief Okonkwo sat in his massive leather chair on the top floor of Okonkwo Towers, staring blankly at the Lagos skyline through floor-to-ceiling windows. His office was the size of a small apartment. Mahogany desk imported from Italy, paintings worth millions on the walls, a private bar stocked with the finest whiskeys money could buy. Everything screamed success. Everything screamed power. But Chief Okonkwo felt like a failure. He had built an empire from nothing. 50 years ago, he was selling a car by the roadside in his village. Now he owned real estate across 3 continents, controlled shipping companies, had his fingers in oil, technology, agriculture, you name it. Forbes called him one of Africa's wealthiest men. Presidents called him for advice. His name opened doors that were welded shut for ordinary people. Yet here he sat at 68 years old, feeling more empty than the day he started with nothing. The intercom on his desk buzzed. "Sir, your 3 p.m. meeting with the German investors." "Cancel it," Chief Okonkwo said quietly. "Sir, I said cancel it, Amaka. Cancel everything for today. I need to think." There was a pause. His secretary had worked for him for 15 years and had never heard him cancel a meeting. "Yes, sir. Is everything all right?" "Everything is fine. Just give me some space." He leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. The problem wasn't the business. The business practically ran itself now, thanks to excellent managers and systems he had put in place over the decades. No, the problem was closer to home. Much closer. His children. Chief Okonkwo had 3 of them. Well, technically 2 biological children and 1 adopted daughter. But to him, all 3 were supposed to be his legacy. The people who would carry the Okonkwo name into the future with pride and dignity. Instead, they were his greatest source of shame. His phone rang. He glanced at the screen. Ngozi, his wife. He sighed and answered. "Yes, my dear." "Okonkwo, where are you? I've been calling you for the past hour." Ngozi's voice came through like a hurricane. His wife had never learned the concept of indoor voice, even over the phone. "I'm at the office, Ngozi. Where else would I be at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday?" "Well, you need to come home right now. Right now." Chief Okonkwo felt a familiar headache beginning behind his eyes. "What happened?" "It's Kelechi. She wants to buy a Lamborghini, a pink Lamborghini. Can you imagine? She saw it on that Instagram, and now she won't stop crying that all her friends have Lamborghinis, and she's the only one without one. The girl is stressing me, Okonkwo. You need to come home and handle this matter." "Ngozi, Kelechi is 32 years old. She doesn't need a Lamborghini. She doesn't even have a driver's license. So? She can hire a driver. That's not the point. Okonkwo, please. You know how sensitive she is. Do you want her to be depressed? Do you want her to feel less than her friends? Just buy the car for her. What's a few million naira to you anyway? You're acting like we're poor." Chief Okonkwo rubbed his temples. "Where is Chidi?" "How should I know? Probably at his club or studio or whatever it is this week. You know your son? He's a free spirit, very creative. We can't cage his artistry." "His artistry," Chief Okonkwo repeated flatly. "Ngozi, the boy is 32 years old and has never completed a single project in his life. Not one. Do you know how much money I've poured into his artistry? Over 200 million naira in the last 5 years alone. And is it not your money? Should you keep it in the bank and watch it grow old? Let the boy enjoy himself. You're always putting pressure on him. That's why he can't focus. You're too critical." Chief Okonkwo counted to 10 in his head. It was a technique his therapist had taught him. "And Ada? Is she home?" "Ada?" Ngozi's voice changed, becoming sharp and cold. "Why are you asking about her?" "She's at the office as usual. doing her Miss Perfect routine, walking around like she owns the place. I saw the way she was talking to the junior staff this morning, acting like she's the MD. That girl has no respect, I'm telling you. She is the general manager, Ngozi. It's her job to manage the staff. General manager at her age. Okonkwo, when will you stop favoring that girl? She's not even your real daughter. And there it was, the same old song. Chief Okonkwo felt something inside him snap. I'm coming home, he said quietly. Good. So you'll buy Kelechi the car? We'll see. He hung up before she could respond. Chief Okonkwo stood up and walked to the window, looking down at the bustling streets of Victoria Island below. Tiny cars, tiny people. All of them probably had their own problems, their own disappointments. But he doubted any of them had his particular burden. He thought about Ada, sweet, responsible, hardworking Ada, the daughter who actually showed up to the office every day at 7 a.m., the daughter who knew every department, every employee's name, every ongoing project, the daughter who asked intelligent questions in meetings and actually read the reports he sent her, the daughter who wasn't his biological child. He and Ngozi had adopted Ada 33 years ago when she was just 3 months old. Back then, Ngozi had been devastated by her infertility. They tried for 5 years to have children with no success. The doctor said it was unlikely she'd ever conceive naturally. Adoption seemed like the only option. Then, miraculously, 3 years after they brought Ada home, Ngozi got pregnant with twins, Chidi and Kelechi. From that moment, everything changed. Ngozi saw the twins as her real children, her miracles, her precious babies that she'd waited so long for. And Ada? Ada became the outsider, the charity case, the one who should be grateful for the roof over her head. Chief Okonkwo had tried to treat all three equally. He loved Ada just as much as the twins, maybe even more, if he was being honest with himself, because Ada actually gave him a reason to be proud. But Ngozi made sure Ada never forgot that she was different. When Ada graduated top of her class from university with a degree in business administration, Chief Okonkwo wanted to bring her straight into the company as a director. After all, she'd interned there every summer since she was 16. She knew the business inside and out, but Ngozi had a fit. Director? Are you mad? She's too young. Give her an entry-level position. Let her work her way up like everyone else. Or is it because she's your favorite that you want to spoil her with positions she hasn't earned? To keep peace in his home, Chief Okonkwo had agreed. Ada started as a junior analyst, the lowest position in the corporate structure. She didn't complain, she didn't throw a tantrum, she just showed up every day, did excellent work, and climbed her way up through merit alone. Now, 10 years later, she was general manager of operations, overseeing 3 departments and 200 employees. She'd earned every promotion. Nobody could say she didn't deserve her position. Meanwhile, Chidi had been handed a fully equipped recording studio worth 50 million naira when he announced he wanted to be a musician. 6 months later, he decided music wasn't his calling. Chief Okonkwo tried to salvage the investment by renting out the studio to other artists, but Chidi had a tantrum about strangers touching his equipment. Then Chidi wanted to launch a cryptocurrency. Chief Okonkwo reluctantly gave him 20 million naira for that venture. It lasted 3 months before Chidi got bored. Then he wanted to be an influencer. Then a boutique owner catering to celebrities. Then a club promoter. Then a producer. Each venture cost millions. Each venture failed spectacularly. Kelechi was no better. She dropped out of university in her second year because school was too hard and education is a scam anyway. Now she spent her days doing TikTok lives and Instagram reels, giving away money to strangers online to boost her follower count. My children are influencing people, Ngozi would say proudly. They have 2 million followers. Do you know how powerful that is? Chief Okonkwo knew exactly how powerful it was, powerful enough to make him a laughingstock among his business associates, powerful enough to cost him deals worth billions. Just last month, Chidi had gotten into a fight at a club in Lakey. Someone recorded it and put it on Twitter. The video went viral. Billionaire son throws bottle at bouncer, the headline screamed. Chief Okonkwo was in the middle of negotiating a major contract with a European manufacturing company. The CEO saw the video. The next day, Chief Okonkwo received a polite email withdrawing from the deal. We need partners who demonstrate stability and good judgment at all levels of their organization, including family, the email said. We don't feel this partnership aligns with our corporate values. One stupid fight, one viral video, 15 billion naira down the drain. And what did Ngozi say when he tried to discipline Chidi? Leave my son alone. He's young. He was just having fun. Do you want to kill him with stress? I carried that boy for 9 months. I almost died bringing him into this world. And now you want to destroy him because of one small mistake? Over my dead body. Chief Okonkwo made a decision right there at the window, watching the Lagos traffic crawl below him. He was going to test them. All of them. His wife, his biological children, his adopted daughter. He needed to know who actually cared about him. Not his money, not his connections, not his empire. Him, the man himself. And he knew exactly how to do it. Chief Okonkwo returned to his desk and picked up his phone. He scrolled through his contacts until he found the name he was looking for. Hassan Ibrahim, his lawyer for 25 years. A man he trusted with his life. The phone rang twice before Hassan answered. Chief, good afternoon, sir. How are you? Hassan, I need to see you urgently. Can you come to my office? Of course, sir. I'm actually just downstairs. I was coming to discuss the Port Harcourt property acquisition. Forget that. Come up now. What I need to discuss is more important. I'm on my way, sir. 3 weeks later. Life in the Okonkwo mansion continued as normal. Or at least, it appeared normal on the surface. Chief Okonkwo went to work every day as usual. Ngozi went to her charity galas and society meetings. Kelechi did her TikTok lives from the poolside. Chidi slept until noon and then went to whichever club or studio or friend's house struck his fancy. And Ada went to work at 7 a.m., came home at 7 p.m., and spent her evenings reading business journals and preparing reports. Nobody noticed that Chief Okonkwo had become quieter than usual. Nobody noticed the way he watched them all carefully, like he was studying them for an exam they didn't know they were taking. Nobody noticed anything at all. It was a Saturday morning when everything changed. Chief Okonkwo had left the house early, claiming he had an important meeting at the office. Ngozi was still in bed. She never woke before 10 a.m. on weekends. Kelechi was in her room, probably recording content. Chidi was God knows where, as usual. Only Ada was awake, in the kitchen making breakfast for herself. She'd given the cook the weekend off because the woman's daughter was getting married. At exactly 10:47 a.m., Ngozi's phone rang. She groaned and reached for it without opening her eyes. Hello? Mrs. Okonkwo. An unfamiliar male voice. Ngozi sat up, suddenly alert. Nobody called her Mrs. Okonkwo unless it was official business. Yes? Who is this? This is Officer Taiwo from the Federal High Court Enforcement Division. I'm calling to inform you that we are currently en route to your residence at 15 Bourdion Road, Ikoyi. We have a court order for immediate property seizure due to unpaid debts. You have approximately 15 minutes to prepare for our arrival. Ngozi's brain struggled to process the words. What? What are you talking about? What debts? There must be some mistake. There is no mistake, madam. The court has granted full seizure rights to Nigerian Continental Bank for all properties and assets listed as collateral for loan number NCB 2024-08867, which is currently in default. We will be there shortly. The line went dead. Ngozi stared at her phone like it had turned into a snake. Then she screamed, ADA! A DA! Somebody, anybody! Ada came running from the kitchen, still holding a spatula. Mummy, what's wrong? What happened? Where is your father? Call your father now. Call him right now. Mummy, calm down. What's going on? They're coming. The court people are coming. They said something about debts and seizure, and Ngozi's hands were shaking so badly she couldn't dial Chief Okonkwo's number. Call him. Call your father, Ada quickly dialed. The phone rang and rang and rang. Finally, Chief Okonkwo answered. Hello? Daddy, where are you? Ada's voice was calm but urgent. Mummy is saying something about court officers coming to the house. What? Chief Okonkwo's voice sounded shocked. What are you talking about? Ngozi snatched the phone from Ada. Okonkwo! Where are you? Some people called me. They said they were coming to seize our house. They said something about unpaid debts and collateral. What is going on? There was a pause, then Chief Okonkwo's voice came back, sounding strained. Stay calm. I'm coming. Don't let anyone into the house until I get there. Do you hear me? Nobody enters until I arrive. What debts, Okonkwo? What are they talking about? I'll explain when I get there. Just stay calm. I'm leaving the office now. The call ended. Ngozi looked at Ada with wild eyes. What is happening? What is your father talking about? Ada shook her head slowly. I don't know, Mummy. But we should do as he said. Let's wait for him. Wait? How can I wait when people are coming to seize my house? Do you know what this means? Do you know the shame? The embarrassment? Ngozi started pacing, her silk nightgown swishing around her legs. I need to call someone. I need to call my lawyer. I need to... A loud knock on the front door made them both jump. They're here, Ada whispered. Ngozi's face went pale. Already? But it hasn't even been 15 minutes. The knock came again, louder this time, more insistent. Ada walked to the front door and looked through the peephole. Her stomach dropped. Outside stood at least 6 men in official-looking uniforms, 2 police officers, 3 men in suits carrying briefcases, and 1 man with a camera, filming everything. Mummy, Ada called out quietly, you should see this. Ngozi rushed over and looked through the peephole. She let out a sound that was half gasp, half sob. Oh my God, this is really happening. The knocking turned into pounding. Mrs. Ngozi Okonkwo, this is the Federal High Court. Open this door immediately or we will be forced to break it down. Don't open it, Ngozi hissed. Your father said not to let anyone in. Mummy, they said they'll break it down. I don't care, don't open it. But before Ada could respond, they heard a commotion from upstairs. Kelechi came running down in her pajamas, phone in hand, her face a mask of panic. Mummy, what's going on? Why are there police cars outside? Why are people recording our gate? It's already on Twitter. Someone posted a video. They're saying we're being raided. What? Ngozi grabbed Kelechi's phone and looked at the screen. Sure enough, there was already a tweet with a video of police vehicles parked outside their gate. The caption read, Breaking, police raid billionaire Chief Okonkwo's mansion. Debt default alleged. # Okonkwo falls. It already had 3,000 retweets. Ngozi swayed on her feet. Ada caught her arm to steady her. The pounding on the door intensified. Mrs. Okonkwo, you have 30 seconds to open this door. Where is Daddy? Kelechi shrieked. Someone call Daddy. He's on his way, Ada said, trying to keep her voice steady even though her own heart was racing. Everyone just stay calm. Calm? Kelechi turned on her. How can we be calm? Do you see what's happening? Do you know what this will do to my brand? My followers are already asking questions. This is a disaster. Your brand? Ngozi snapped. Your brand? Kelechi, we are about to lose our house and you're worried about your followers? 10 seconds, the voice outside shouted. Mummy, we have to open it, Ada said quietly. If they break down the door, it will be worse. At least if we open it, we can... Fine. Ngozi threw her hands up. Open it. Open the stupid door. Let them see that we have nothing to hide. We've done nothing wrong. This is obviously a mistake. Ada took a deep breath and unlocked the door. The moment the door swung open, the man with the camera pushed forward, filming everything. The two police officers stepped inside first, followed by the three suited men. Mrs. Ngozi Okonkwo? One of the suited men asked. Yes, Ngozi said, drawing herself up to her full height, trying to look dignified in her nightgown. And who are you? I am Barrister Adewale from Nigerian Continental Bank. These are my colleagues from the Asset Recovery Division. We have a court order for immediate seizure of this property and all assets contained within. He held out a thick envelope of papers. Ngozi snatched them and started reading. Her eyes grew wider with each page she turned. This says unpaid loan of $100 million. Collateral includes primary residence, vacation homes, vehicles, and... Her voice trailed off as she reached the end. The papers slipped from her fingers and scattered across the marble floor. Collateral includes Okonkwo Industries Limited and all subsidiary companies. Barrister Adewale finished for her. Your husband took out this loan 18 months ago. He has defaulted on the last 6 payments. The bank has exhausted all diplomatic avenues for resolution. This seizure is final and legally binding. No, Ngozi whispered. No, this can't be real. Okonkwo would have told me. He would have... Mummy, look at this, Ada said quietly. She'd picked up one of the papers. It showed Chief Okonkwo's signature at the bottom, clear as day. It's his signature. Fake. It must be fake. Someone forged it. But Ngozi's voice lacked conviction. She knew her husband's signature. This was real. Kelechi was standing frozen, still filming everything on her phone. Her TikTok was on live mode. Over 50,000 people were watching in real time. Miss, you need to turn that off, one of the officers said. It's a free country. I can record whatever I want, Kelechi shot back. Kelechi, turn it off, Ada said firmly. Don't tell me what to do. You're not even... Kelechi stopped herself, but everyone knew what she was about to say. You're not even our real sister. At that moment, Chief Okonkwo's car pulled into the driveway. They could hear the tires screeching to a halt. Seconds later, Chief Okonkwo burst through the still open front door. His face was flushed, his tie askew, his usually immaculate appearance disheveled. What is the meaning of this? He demanded, looking at the men in his living room. By what authority do you enter my home? Barrister Adewale calmly handed him a copy of the court papers. By authority of the Federal High Court, sir. I believe you're familiar with the loan in question. Chief Okonkwo grabbed the papers and scanned them quickly. His face went through a series of expressions. Shock, confusion, then dawning horror that looked very, very real. This is impossible, he breathed. I asked for more time. I was told I had until the end of the month to make arrangements. No, sir. Your extension request was denied 3 weeks ago. You were notified by certified mail. I never received any mail. That's not our concern, sir. The law has been followed to the letter. Now, I'm afraid I must inform you that you and your family have 2 hours to vacate these premises. You may take personal belongings, clothes, photographs, items of sentimental value. But all electronics, jewelry, vehicles, and furniture remain as they are collateral. 2 hours? Ngozi's voice came out as a squeak. You expect us to pack our entire lives in 2 hours? I'm sorry, madam. Those are the terms. Chidi chose that moment to come sauntering through the front door, earbuds in, completely oblivious to the chaos. He stopped dead when he saw the crowd of people in the living room. What's going on? He pulled out his earbuds. Why are there police here? Your father has ruined us, Ngozi screamed. That's what's going on. We're being thrown out of our own house. What? Chidi looked at his father. Dad, what is she talking about? Chief Okonkwo couldn't seem to speak. He just stood there staring at the papers in his hands like they were written in a foreign language. Ada stepped forward. Daddy, is this true? Did you take a loan? Chief Okonkwo's eyes met hers. For just a fraction of a second, something flickered there. Then he nodded slowly. Yes, business has been difficult, very difficult, for the past few years. I've been selling properties, liquidating assets, trying to keep everything afloat. I thought I could turn it around. I took the loan to invest in what I thought was a sure thing. But it fell through, and now, we're homeless. Kelechi wailed. Oh my God, we're going to be homeless. This can't be happening. Someone pinch me. This has to be a nightmare. Very much real, I'm afraid, Barrister Adewale said without sympathy. Now we'll give you some privacy to pack your things. But please be aware, we will be conducting an inventory. Any attempt to take items beyond what is permitted will result in criminal charges. He and his colleagues moved to the side of the room but didn't leave. The police officer stood by the door. The man with the camera kept filming. The Okonkwo family stood in the middle of their palatial living room, surrounded by their belongings, their wealth, their entire lives, none of which belonged to them anymore. Okonkwo, Ngozi said, her voice deadly quiet. Tell me you have a plan. Tell me you have money hidden somewhere. Tell me we're not really about to lose everything. Chief Okonkwo looked at his wife, then at his children, then down at the floor. The only thing I have left, he said quietly, is the village house. My father's house, where I grew up. They can't touch that because it was never in my name. It's still in my father's name, and he willed it to remain in the family in perpetuity, outside of any business dealings. The village house? Ngozi repeated slowly. You mean that tiny thing in Anambra? That house that doesn't even have air conditioning? That village? Yes. No, Ngozi's shriek could probably be heard in the next neighborhood. No, no, no. I am not going to live in a village. I am not going backwards. I am a Lagos socialite. I am on the board of 3 charities. I have a reputation. You had a reputation, Chidi said bitterly. This is going to be everywhere. We're going to be the laughingstock of the entire country. Then what do you suggest? Chief Okonkwo asked, his voice sharp for the first time. Do you have money hidden somewhere that I don't know about? Do you have assets, property, investments, anything? Chidi opened his mouth, then closed it. That's what I thought, Chief Okonkwo said. We're going to the village. All of us, and we're going to figure out our next move from there. I'm not going to any stupid village. Kelechi stamped her foot like a child. I'll stay with my friends. I have plenty of friends who would what? Chief Okonkwo cut her off. Would take you in now that you're not rich anymore? Now that you can't give away money on TikTok? Now that you're not the billionaire's daughter? You think those friends are real? Kelechi's face crumpled. Tears started streaming down her cheeks, but for once, no one rushed to comfort her. Ada spoke up quietly. Daddy, what about the cars? Can we at least take one vehicle? Barrister Adewale shook his head. All vehicles registered under Chief Okonkwo's name are part of the collateral. However, he consulted his papers. There is one vehicle registered under Ada Okonkwo's name, a 2022 Toyota Camry. That one is not subject to seizure. Ada nodded. She'd bought that car herself 2 years ago with her own salary, refusing to let her father buy her one of the expensive SUVs the rest of the family drove. At the time, Ngozi had mocked her for it. A Camry? How embarrassing. What will people think? That we can't afford better for our daughter? Now that embarrassing Camry was the only vehicle they had left. Then we'll take the Camry, Chief Okonkwo said. Are you joking? Chidi laughed incredulously. 5 people in a Camry. With our luggage? Dad, be serious. I am being serious. We'll make it work. Now everyone go pack. We have 2 hours. Nobody moved. They all just stood there staring at each other, waiting for someone to announce that this was all a prank. The cameras would come out and someone would yell, "Surprise!" But no cameras came. No one yelled surprise. This was real. Now, Chief Okonkwo's voice boomed through the house. "Go pack, now!" Finally, they scattered. Ngozi ran upstairs, already crying. Chidi followed, muttering curses under his breath. Kelechi was on her phone, frantically calling friends. Only Ada remained with her father. "Daddy," she said softly, "are you okay?" Chief Okonkwo looked at his adopted daughter. Really looked at her. She wasn't crying. She wasn't screaming. She wasn't blaming him or cursing him or having a breakdown. She was asking if he was okay. "I will be," he said. "We will be. This is just temporary. I'll figure something out." "I know you will," Ada said. She squeezed his hand. "I'll go pack my things. And Daddy, whatever happens, we'll get through it. Together." She headed upstairs, leaving Chief Okonkwo alone with the bank officials and the police. The camera was still recording. In 2 hours, the Okonkwo family would leave this mansion for the last time. But none of them knew yet just how much their lives were about to change. And Chief Okonkwo's test had only just begun. The next 2 hours were absolute chaos. Ngozi ran around the house like a woman possessed, trying to gather her things. But how do you pack 30 years of luxury living into a few suitcases? Her walk-in closet alone was the size of a small apartment, filled with designer clothes, shoes, bags, and jewelry that she'd accumulated over the decades. "I need more time," she kept screaming to the bank officials. "This is impossible. How can you expect me to choose?" "You have 1 hour and 45 minutes remaining," Barrister Adewale said, checking his watch. In Kelechi's room, it was even worse. She sat on her bed, surrounded by clothes, makeup, shoes, and accessories, crying as she filmed herself. "This is it, guys," she sobbed into her phone camera. "This might be my last post from this room, from this house. My father has lost everything. Everything. We're about to be homeless. Please, if anyone out there can help us, please DM me, please. I'm begging you." The comments were flooding in, but they weren't sympathetic. "Girl, bye, you spent millions on TikTok giveaways and now you're begging? Karma is real. You live too flashy. Where are all your rich friends now? This is what happens when you live above your means." Kelechi threw her phone across the room and burst into fresh tears. Meanwhile, Chidi was in his own room, frantically calling every friend, every associate, every person he had ever partied with or done business with. "Bro, I need help. Yeah, I know you saw the news. Can I crash at your place for a while? Just until I figure things out?" "What? Are you serious right now? I thought we were boys. Yo, don't hang up on me." The line went dead. He tried another number, same result, and another, and another. Nobody wanted to help the fallen billionaire's son. Ada, in her room, was the only one packing methodically. She had 3 suitcases laid out on her bed. In one, she packed practical clothes, jeans, t-shirts, comfortable shoes. In the second, work clothes, modest dresses, blouses, slacks. In the third, personal items, her laptop, important documents, some books, family photos. She looked around her room one last time. This had been her home for 33 years. Every corner held a memory. But she wasn't crying. There was no point. Things are just things, she thought. Family is what matters, and Daddy needs me right now. She carried her suitcases downstairs. Her father was in the living room, a single duffel bag at his feet. He'd packed even faster than she had. "That's all you're taking?" Ada asked. Chief Okonkwo shrugged. "What else do I need?" "Clothes, documents. That's it." Ngozi came stumbling down the stairs with 4 large suitcases. She was still wearing her nightgown, but had thrown on a designer coat over it. Her face was blotchy from crying, her hair a mess. "These are just my essentials," she announced. "My absolute essentials. Everything else can stay." Barrister Adewale walked over and began examining her suitcases. He opened the first one. It was packed with jewelry boxes. "Mrs. Okonkwo, jewelry is not permitted. it's considered an asset. What? No, these are my personal items. These were gifts. Gifts purchased with funds that are now subject to repayment. I'm sorry. He began removing the jewelry boxes. Ngozi tried to snatch them back. No, that's my diamond necklace. Chief bought that for me on our 20th anniversary. You can't take it. Madam, please step back or I'll have the officers escort you out immediately. Ngozi looked at the police officers who had their hands on their belts, ready to act. She backed away, sobbing. The second and third suitcases were also full of jewelry, designer bags, and expensive accessories, all confiscated. By the time they were done, Ngozi was left with one small suitcase of clothes. This is highway robbery, she wailed. This is injustice. Chidi came down next, carrying two large duffel bags. Barrister Adewale checked those too. One was filled with designer sneakers and watches. All taken. Are you kidding me? Those are my shoes. I wore them. They're used. Used luxury items still have value, sir. They remain with the house. Kelechi was the last to come down. She had somehow managed to squeeze things into 3 suitcases, plus a large makeup case. The bank officials went through everything. Half of it was confiscated, designer clothes with tags still on them, expensive perfume, luxury makeup worth thousands. This is a nightmare, Kelechi kept repeating. An actual nightmare. When they were finally done, the Grand Okonkwo family was left standing in their marble foyer with significantly less than they'd tried to take. 6 modest suitcases and bags between 5 people. Your time is up, Barrister Adewale announced. I need you all to exit the property now. Wait, Ngozi said. Can I at least say goodbye to my house? Can I have one moment? The lawyer hesitated, then nodded. 5 minutes. Ngozi walked through the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, touching everything like she was memorizing it through her fingertips. She went upstairs one last time, visiting each bedroom. The others stood in awkward silence. When Ngozi finally came back down, her face was red and swollen from crying. All right, she whispered. I'm ready. They walked out of the front door. The camera was still filming. More people had gathered outside the gate. Neighbors, bloggers, curious onlookers. Phones were everywhere, recording their walk of shame. Ada went to her Camry and opened the trunk. They loaded what few bags they had. It was a tight fit, but they managed. Everyone in, Chief Okonkwo said. They climbed into the car, Chief Okonkwo in the driver's seat, Ngozi in the passenger seat, Ada, Chidi, and Kelechi crammed in the back. Nobody spoke as Chief Okonkwo started the engine and drove through the gate. The crowd outside was shouting questions, cameras flashing, but he kept his eyes straight ahead. They left Bourdillon Road, left Ikoyi, left Lagos Island entirely. As they merged onto the expressway heading east toward Anambra State, the reality of their situation began to sink in. They were going to the village, to a house without air conditioning, without a generator, without any of the luxuries they'd known their entire lives. In the back seat, Kelechi started crying again. I can't believe this is happening. I literally can't believe it. Chidi punched the back of the driver's seat. This is your fault. All of this. How could you be so stupid? How could you risk everything? Chidi, Ada started. Shut up, Ada. This doesn't concern you. Don't talk to your sister that way, Chief Okonkwo said quietly from the front. Sister? She's not my sister. She's just some girl you picked up from an orphanage. Chidi, Ngozi snapped. That's enough. Oh, now you defend her? After years of treating her like garbage? Interesting timing, Mom. The car fell silent except for Kelechi's sniffling. The drive to Anambra State took hours. Nobody spoke much. The tension in the Camry was thick enough to cut with a knife. Ngozi sat in the passenger seat, her arms crossed, staring out the window with a look of pure disgust. In the back, Kelechi was on her phone, frantically trying to get signal every few minutes. Chidi had his earbuds in, but his jaw was clenched so tight it looked painful. Only Ada seemed calm, though her eyes kept drifting to her father's face, worried about the stress lines deepening around his eyes. As they left the city behind, the roads became narrower, the buildings shorter, the landscape greener. They passed through small towns, then villages, then finally turned onto a red dirt road that led deeper into rural Anambra. "This is it," Chief Okonkwo announced as he pulled the car to a stop. Everyone looked up. In front of them stood a simple bungalow. The walls were painted white, but the paint was faded and peeling in places. The roof was rusty zinc. There was a small veranda with a wooden bench that had seen better days. A few chickens wandered around the dusty compound. The whole place looked like it had been forgotten by time. "No," Ngozi whispered. "No, no, no. This cannot be it." "This is it," Chief Okonkwo said, turning off the engine. "This," Kalichi's voice cracked. "Daddy, you're joking, right? This is a joke. Where are the cameras? Is this some kind of prank show?" "I wish it was," Chief Okonkwo said quietly, getting out of the car. They all climbed out slowly, like prisoners being led to their cells. Chief Okonkwo pulled out an old key and unlocked the front door. It creaked open loudly. Inside was even more depressing. The living room had a few old wooden chairs with torn cushions, a wobbly center table, and walls that desperately needed repainting. There was no TV, no decorations, just bare walls with a few faded family photos from decades ago. The kitchen was tiny, just a kerosene stove, a few pots and pans hanging on nails, a small wooden table, and shelves with chipped paint. There was a bucket in the corner for water. "Where's the refrigerator?" Ngozi asked, her voice hollow. "There isn't one," Chief Okonkwo said. "We'll buy ice from the village when we need to keep things cold." "Ice from the village," Ngozi repeated slowly, like she was trying to understand a foreign language. Chief Okonkwo showed them the bedrooms. 3 small rooms with old wooden beds, thin mattresses, and windows with rusty burglar bars. One had a ceiling fan that looked like it hadn't worked since 1999. The other 2 had nothing, just the beds and 4 walls. "This is the master bedroom," Chief Okonkwo said, pointing to the slightly larger room with the broken fan. "Ngozi, this is yours." Ngozi walked in, looked around, and her bottom lip started trembling. "There's no air conditioning. No, there's no closet for my clothes. You'll have to use that." He pointed to an old wooden wardrobe in the corner that looked like it might collapse if you sneezed near it. "There's no bathroom attached." "No, there's one bathroom for the whole house, down the hall." Ngozi turned to look at him, and for the first time since this whole nightmare started, she looked genuinely broken. "Okonkwo, how did we get here?" He didn't answer, he just walked out. Kalichi and Ada were shown to the second bedroom. It had one single bed, just one, and nothing else, not even a chair. "We're supposed to share this?" Kalichi said, staring at the tiny bed like it was a torture device. "This bed is smaller than my makeup table in Lagos." "I'll sleep on the floor," Ada said immediately, already assessing the space. "There's no floor to sleep on. It's just cement. Hard, cold cement. I'll manage." Chidi got the third room with his father. He took one look at the 2 small beds with their lumpy mattresses and actually laughed, a bitter, angry sound. "This is insane. This is actually insane, Dad. We can't live like this." "We don't have a choice," Chief Okonkwo said. "There's always a choice. We can go to a hotel. We can rent an apartment in town. We can..." "With what money, Chidi? What money do we have?" Chidi opened his mouth, then closed it. Because the reality was staring him in the face, they had nothing. They spent the first night in near silence. The shock was too fresh. The reality too brutal. They were used to sleeping in air-conditioned rooms with soft mattresses and Egyptian cotton sheets. Now they were in a village house where the heat was suffocating. The mosquitoes were vicious, and the mattresses felt like bags of rocks. Ada lay on the hard cement floor of the bedroom, using her folded clothes as a pillow. Above her on the bed, she could hear Kalichi crying softly. Kalichi? Ada whispered. Are you okay? Does it look like I'm okay? Kalichi sobbed. My life is over, Ada. Over. This is hell. Actual hell. Ada wanted to say something comforting, but what could she say? That things would get better? She didn't even know if that was true. In the master bedroom, Ngozi lay awake staring at the ceiling, sweating in the heat, listening to mosquitoes buzz around her head. She could feel her expensive skincare routine being undone with every passing minute. Her pores were probably clogging right now. Her skin was drying out. Her body was aging and fast forward. This was not the life she signed up for. In the third bedroom, Chidi couldn't sleep either. He kept thinking about his friends in Lagos, about the clubs, the parties, the lifestyle. All of it felt like a dream now, like it had happened to someone else. Only Chief Okonkwo slept, not because he was comfortable, but because he was exhausted. Exhausted from the stress, exhausted from the weight of his plan, exhausted from watching his family fall apart. But also, a tiny part of him felt at peace, because soon, very soon, he would know the truth about all of them. Day 2, Ada woke up at dawn from pure habit. Her body ached from sleeping on the hard floor, but she got up anyway. She found a bucket in the kitchen, went outside to the borehole, a simple hand pump in the compound, and started drawing water. It was hard work, pumping the handle up and down, watching the water trickle out slowly, filling bucket after bucket. By the time she'd filled 3 buckets, her arms were burning. She carried them inside one by one and started cleaning. The house was dusty. Clearly it hadn't been properly lived in for years. She swept, mopped, wiped down the surfaces. Then she assessed the kitchen situation. There was a small bag of rice in one cupboard, some palm oil, a few seasoning cubes, and not much else. She'd have to go to the village market later to buy food. But for now, she'd work with what they had. She lit the kerosene stove. It took a few tries because she'd never used one before, and started cooking rice and stew. One by one, the others woke up. Ngozi emerged from her room looking like she'd been through a war. Her hair was all over the place. Her face was puffy. Her nightgown was wrinkled and sweaty. I didn't sleep at all, she announced to no one in particular. Not one single minute. Do you know why? Because it was like sleeping in an oven, an OVEN. I was sweating so much and I thought I was going to melt into the mattress. And the mosquitoes, they attacked me like I was their last meal on earth. Look, she held out her arms, which were covered in red bites. Look at this. I look like I have chicken pox. There's a net in the wardrobe, Chief Okonkwo said quietly from his room. You can use it tonight. A-N-E-T? You mean one of those old mosquito nets that probably has more holes than fabric? That's your solution? It's better than nothing. Nothing would be better than this. Ngozi threw her hands up. This is a nightmare. An actual living nightmare. Kelechi came out next, looking equally traumatized. Her hair, which she usually spent an hour styling every morning, was flat and tangled. Her face had makeup smudges from yesterday since there was no proper mirror or lighting to remove it properly last night. There's no water pressure, she said, her voice shaking. I went to the bathroom to wash my face, and the tap barely works. I had to use a bucket. A bucket! Like some kind of village person. We are in a village, Ada pointed out gently as she stirred the pot of rice. Don't remind me, Kelechi wailed. And there's no network. I've been trying since yesterday. No network, no Wi-Fi, nothing. How am I supposed to post? How am I supposed to let my followers know I'm okay? Maybe they don't need to know, Chidi muttered, emerging from his room looking equally miserable. Maybe just accept that your influencer career is over. It's not over. Don't say that. Kiki, wake up. You need internet to be an influencer. There's no internet here. Therefore, no career. It's basic logic. Kalichi's eyes filled with tears. You're so mean. Why are you always so mean to me, Bashi? Because somebody needs to tell you the truth. Both of you, stop it, Ngozi shrieked. I have a headache. A massive, pounding headache. And you two are making it worse with your constant bickering. Maybe if you disciplined them properly when they were young, they wouldn't bicker so much, Chief Okonkwo said quietly. The room went dead silent. Ngozi turned to him slowly, her eyes narrowing. What did you just say? You heard me. Are you blaming me for how they turned out? When you're the one who brought us to this dump? I'm just saying that maybe if you taught them some resilience, some gratitude, some basic life skills, they'd be handling this situation better. Life skills? Ngozi's voice went up so high only dogs could probably hear it. They didn't need life skills. They were born into wealth. They were supposed to stay in wealth. That was the plan. You were supposed to maintain that, and you failed. Chief Okonkwo just stared at her, his face expressionless. You failed us, Okonkwo. You failed us. Ada couldn't take it anymore. Mommy, please, stop. Daddy is going through enough. Oh, here she goes again. Saint Ada defending Daddy. Tell me, Ada, does it make you feel special? Being the good one, the perfect one? I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to help. Well, don't. Your help isn't wanted. Ada turned back to the stove, blinking back tears. She'd heard worse from Ngozi over the years, but it never stopped hurting. Breakfast is ready, she said quietly. They all sat around the small wooden table in the kitchen, a tight squeeze for 5 people. Ada served the rice and stew. Ngozi looked at her plate like Ada had just served her poison. What is this? Rice and stew. This is not rice and stew. I don't even know what this is. The rice looks old. The stew looks watery. Where's the chicken? The beef, the prawns? There's no meat, Mummy. This is what we have. No meat? No meat? Am I supposed to eat like a peasant now? You're supposed to eat what's available, Chief Okonkwo said firmly. All of you. We're not in Lagos anymore. We can't afford to be picky. Chidi pushed his plate away. I'm not hungry. Me neither, Kelechi added. Suit yourselves, Chief Okonkwo said, taking a bite of his food. Ada, this is good. Thank you. You're welcome, Daddy. Ngozi watched them eat for a moment, her stomach growling. Pride told her to refuse the food. Hunger told her to eat. Eventually, hunger won. She picked up her spoon and took a tiny bite. It actually wasn't bad. Simple, but edible. But she'd die before admitting it. The first week, the days blurred together in a cycle of complaints and misery. Every morning, Ada would wake up early, draw water, clean, cook. Every morning, the others would wake up complaining. The water is not clean, Ngozi would say, staring at the bucket Ada had filled from the borehole. Look at it. It's cloudy. It probably has parasites. I'm going to get typhoid or cholera or something terrible. It's clean, Mummy. I boiled it. Boiled water. Like I'm camping in the wilderness. This is not how I'm supposed to live. Kalichi's main obsession was the network situation. She would walk around the compound holding her phone up high, moving in circles like she was performing some kind of ritual. There has to be signal somewhere, she'd say desperately. Maybe if I stand on the roof or climb that tree, there has to be a way. There's no way, Chidi would say from where he lay on the veranda, staring at the ceiling. Just accept it. We're cut off from civilization. Don't say that. Don't ever say that. By day 3, Kalichi had a complete meltdown. My followers are forgetting me. I can feel it. Every hour I'm offline, I'm losing followers. My engagement is dropping. My brand is dying. Your brand was built on Daddy's money, Ada said quietly as she swept the living room. Maybe it's time to build something real. Kalichi whipped around. What did you just say? I said, No, I heard what you said. You think my career isn't real. You think I didn't work for my followers? I think giving away daddy's money to strangers isn't the same as working. How dare you? Ngozi's complaints got worse every day. My skincare routine is ruined. Ruined. Do you know what this heat is doing to my pores? They're opening. They're expanding. I'm going to have craters on my face. I'll look like the moon. Mummy, you look fine, Ada would say. Fine? Ada, I have standards. I have a reputation. I can't go from looking like a Lego socialite to looking like a market woman. What's wrong with market women? Ada asked. Everything. They're rough. They're weathered. They age terribly because they don't take care of their skin. And now I'm going to end up looking like one of them because there's no air conditioning, no proper water, no access to my dermatologist. By day 5, Ngozi was examining her face in a small hand mirror every hour. I'm getting darker. I swear I'm getting darker. The sun here is too strong and I'm out of sunscreen. Do you know what UV rays do to collagen? They destroy it. Destroy it. Chidi spent most of his time lying down, bored out of his mind. There's nothing to do here. Absolutely nothing. No clubs, no lounges, no friends, no life. You could help Ada with the chores, Chief Okonkwo suggested one afternoon. Chidi looked at his father like he had suggested jumping off a cliff. Help with chores? Dad, I don't do chores. That's not my thing. Maybe it should be. I'm not a houseboy. No, you're a grown man who should know how to take care of himself. Whatever. Chidi put his earbuds back in, even though there was no music playing since his phone was dying and there was nowhere to charge it properly. The worst part was how they treated Chief Okonkwo. Multiple times a day, they would attack him with words like weapons. This is all your fault. Ngozi would spit at him. You're so irresponsible. How does a grown man, a businessman with 40 years of experience, lose everything? How? You're useless, Chidi would add. Completely useless. My friends' fathers didn't lose their money. Just you. Just my father had to be the failure. I wish you weren't my dad, Kelechi screamed one evening after the sun had set and they were sitting in darkness because there was no generator. I wish I had a different father. One who knew how to take care of his family. Chief Okonkwo would just sit there, taking it. His face would become like stone. His eyes would dim, but he never fought back, never defended himself. Only Ada stood up for him. Stop it, she'd say firmly. Stop talking to Daddy like that. He doesn't deserve this. Doesn't deserve it? Ngozi would laugh harshly. He deserves worse. He brought us here, to this hell. It's not hell, Mummy. It's just different. Different? Different. Ada, there's no air conditioning. The water is from a borehole. We're using kerosene lamps like we're in the Stone Age. If this isn't hell, I don't know what is. At least we have a roof over our heads. At least we're together. Together? What kid I? Together! I don't want to be together. I want to be in Lagos, in my mansion, with my things, with my life. Ada would turn away, hurt but trying not to show it. She'd check on her father instead. Daddy, she'd say softly, sitting beside him on the veranda in the evenings. Don't listen to them. Please, don't let their words hurt you. Chief Okonkwo would look at his adopted daughter with such pain in his eyes. How can it not hurt, Ada? These are the people I worked my whole life for. I built an empire for them, and now they look at me like I'm trash. Then they're ungrateful, and that's their problem, not yours. You don't hate me? He'd ask quietly. For bringing you here? For losing everything? Daddy, I could never hate you. Never. You're my father. You took me in when I had no one. You gave me everything, a home, an education, love. How could I hate you for one mistake? It was a big mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. What matters is how we move forward. Chief Okonkwo would squeeze her hand. Ada, you're more than 10 sons. You know that? More than 10 sons. I'm just your daughter, Daddy. That's all I want to be. But while Ada comforted her father, Ngozi would be in her room, staring at the ceiling, making plans. This can't be my life, she'd think. I refuse to accept this. I refuse. And in their room, Chidi and Kelechi were thinking the same thing. There has to be a way out. There has to be. By the second week, things had somehow gotten even worse. The complaints multiplied. The insults became more vicious. The atmosphere in the house was poisonous. I can't believe I have to bathe with a bucket. Ngozi would shriek every morning. Do you know how humiliating this is? M.E. Ngozi Okonkwo bathing with a bucket. The food's always the same, Chidi would complain. Rice, rice, rice. Is that all there is? Rice? Where's the variety? Where's the jollof, the fried rice, the pasta, the pizza? There's no pizza here, Chidi, Ada would say patiently. Then what's the point of living? Kelechi had taken to going into town every day, a 3-kilometer walk each way, just to find network signal. She'd stand in certain spots where she could get one bar and try desperately to upload something, anything, to her social media. But her content wasn't landing like it used to. Without the backdrop of luxury, without the giveaways, without the glamorous lifestyle, people weren't interested. The comments on her posts were brutal. Girl, where's the money now? From Ikoa to the village, how the mighty have fallen. So you can't do giveaways anymore? Bye, she'd come back to the house crying every day. People are so mean, so mean. They're enjoying my suffering. That's because your entire brand was built on showing off wealth, Ada said quietly one evening as she prepared dinner. When the wealth disappeared, so did the interest. You don't understand anything about social media. Maybe not, but I understand that real relationships aren't built on money. They're built on genuine connection. Oh, please, spare me the after-school special wisdom. The tension in the house was unbearable. Everyone was on edge. Everyone was angry. Everyone was looking for someone to blame, and they all blamed Chief Okonkwo. You've ruined my life, Kelechi would scream at him. You're a failure, Chidi would add. You're not a man. Ngozi would say, her words cutting like knives. A real man would have protected his family. A real man wouldn't have let this happen. But you're not a man. You're a coward, a useless, pathetic coward. Ada would jump to his defense. Mummy, stop. Please, you're being cruel. Cruel? I'm being honest. Someone needs to tell him the truth. The truth is that you're ungrateful. Ada's voice rose, surprising everyone. She rarely raised her voice. Daddy worked his whole life to give you everything, and the moment things got hard, all you can do is insult him. Where's your compassion? Where's your love? Love? Ngozi laughed bitterly. Love doesn't pay bills, Ada. Love doesn't bring back our house. Love doesn't fix this disaster. No, but it helps us survive it. Together, I don't want to survive. I want to live. And I can't live like this. Through all of this, Chief Okonkwo remained quiet. He'd sit on the veranda for hours just staring into space. Ada would check on him constantly. Daddy, talk to me. Please, tell me what you're thinking. I'm thinking about my choices, Ada. About my life, about whether any of it mattered. Of course it mattered. You built an empire. You helped thousands of people through your businesses. You raised children. Children who hate me. I don't hate you. You're the exception. He'd turn to look at her. Ada, why are you still here? Why haven't you left like your mother and siblings want to? Because you're my father. And children don't abandon their fathers, even when the father has failed them. You haven't failed me, Daddy. Not ever. Those conversations kept Chief Okonkwo going, kept him from completely breaking down. But he was watching, always watching, watching how Ngozi looked at him with disgust, watching how Chidi couldn't even meet his eyes anymore, watching how Kelechi blamed him for every inconvenience, and watching how only Ada, sweet, loyal Ada, stood by him. By the third week, something shifted. Ada noticed it first. Ngozi, Chidi, and Kelechi started whispering, not openly, not obviously, but in corners, in hushed tones, when they thought no one was listening. She'd walk into a room and they'd suddenly stop talking. She'd see them outside in the compound, huddled together, their voices low. At night, she'd hear footsteps, soft, sneaky footsteps, as they moved around the house having secret conversations. "Daddy," Ada said one evening as they sat on the veranda, "have you noticed?" "Noticed what?" "Mummy and the others, they're planning something." Chief Okonkwo was quiet for a moment. "I've noticed." "What do you think they're planning?" "I don't know, but whatever it is, I don't think it's good." He was right, because Ngozi, Chidi, and Kelechi were planning something. They'd been planning it for days. "We can't stay here," Ngozi would whisper when they gathered outside at night, away from the house. "I'm going insane. I can't live like this for one more day." "So what do we do?" Kelechi asked. "We have no money, no connections, nothing." "That's not entirely true," Ngozi said slowly. "I have options." "What options?" Chidi asked. Ngozi hesitated, then said, "Chief Emeka Nwosu." Both children stared at her. "Dad's business partner?" Chidi said. "What about him?" "He's been interested in me for years. He's made it clear that if I ever needed anything at all, I should reach out to him." "Mummy, are you saying—" "I'm saying he has money, lots of it, and he'd be willing to help us, to take us in, if we asked." Kelechi's eyes widened. "You want us to leave Daddy?" "Your father has already left us," Ngozi hissed. "He left us the moment he made those stupid business decisions. He's left us with nothing. So yes, I want to leave, and you two should come with me." "What about Ada?" Chidi asked. "What about Ada? Let her stay with her precious daddy. She loves him so much, let her suffer with him." "But Mummy, the house," Ngozi said, a strange gleam in her eye, "is still worth something. It may not be much, but it's property, and property can be sold." "Wait, you want to sell Daddy's house?" Kelechi said, shocked. "It's our house. We're still his family. We're entitled to it, and we need money. So yes, I'm going to sell it. I already found a buyer, someone in town who's been eyeing this property for years. He'll pay cash. Not much, but enough for us to start over." "Does Daddy know?" "Of course he doesn't know. And he's not going to know, not until it's done." The twins were quiet, processing this. "So we just leave?" Chidi said finally. "In the middle of the night?" "Exactly. We take the car. We take whatever valuables are left, the deed to the house, any important documents, whatever we can sell, and we go." "When?" "Soon. Very soon. I just need to finalize things with the buyer and with Emeka. A few more days, then we leave this nightmare behind forever." And so they plotted, whispered, planned. Ada knew something was wrong, but she didn't know what. She tried to talk to them. "Mommy, is everything okay?" "Everything is fine, Ada. Mind your business." "Kelechi, you've been acting strange." "I'm fine. Just leave me alone." Even Chief Okonkwo noticed. But like Ada, he didn't know exactly what they were planning. He just knew it was something. "They're going to leave," he said to Ada one night. "You think so?" "I know so. I can see it in their eyes. They're done with this. With me." "Daddy, don't say that." "It's okay, Ada. Let them go. If they want to leave, let them. I won't beg anyone to stay." But his voice cracked on the last word, and Ada's heart broke for him. It happened on a Wednesday morning. Chief Okonkwo woke up early, as usual. The house was too quiet. Normally by now, he'd hear Ngozi complaining about something, or Kelechi's voice from her room, or Chidi's heavy footsteps. But today, nothing. He got out of bed and walked through the house. The master bedroom door was open. Ngozi's things were gone. The wardrobe was empty. The room Kelechi and Ada shared, Kelechi's side was cleared out. Chidi's things from the room they shared, gone. Chief Okonkwo's heart started pounding. He went to the living room. On the small center table, there was a folded piece of paper. His hands shook as he picked it up and read it. Okonkwo, we've gone back to Lagos. A friend has agreed to take us in, me and my children. We cannot continue to suffer in this place. You've lost everything and we refuse to lose ourselves along with it. We've taken the car since we need transportation. We've also taken the deed to the village house and sold it. We need money to start over, and you clearly can't provide that anymore. Take care of yourself. Maybe this life suits you and your adopted daughter, but it doesn't suit us. We deserve better. We're done. Goodbye. Ngozi. This is not the end. Stay tuned for the next part. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. It's free. See you in the next one.